Sahara's hilarious. That's her redeeming quality. She brings up the polyester. What she call it? The poly.
It's just so not like.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. I'm your girl, Intisar Eleanor. I am joined with my beautiful husband, Joseph Conner, and you are on the Conner's Couch. We're talking all things Ready to Love Philadelphia today. But before we get into that, I want to give you guys an update on what we've been doing this week. So yesterday, we actually celebrated. So I cooked for Joe's birthday. I told you guys that was like earlier this week. And then yesterday, we went to how would you describe it, babe?
It was a golf lounge. You know, if you've been to Top Golf and stuff like that, it's like that, but indoor because the weather here has been terrible. So we found an indoor spot. It was super cool, though.
It was cool. So they do like AI generated golf?
Yeah, like the digital, almost like the digital driving range that you hit against the screen.
Really, really nice place. No notes. It was really nice. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna be honest, when I got to check, it was very inexpensive.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. That's the other thing I noticed too when I was checking it out online.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Way cheaper than some of the bays and rentals at like a Top Golf and some of these other places. And
I thought that the service was really good, and they really accommodated us, and it was really a cool time. I thought it was pretty cool. I would go back.
Oh, for sure. I want to take our uncle back.
Last night I survived on Reese Cups and Lemon Heads. Ate them all. Mammy Tappan Day. And seeing everybody come out and celebrate my beautiful husband is just really, really nice.
Yeah.
Because I really treat your birthday like my birthday. Like, I don't need a party for my birthday because I feel like I always throw a party for your birthday. So then I just want to go somewhere and relax. Yeah. You know what I mean? Happy birthday to us. I have my Reese Cup ready. Let's get into Ready to Love. So this episode opens up with Rocky and Coley getting eliminated. But we all knew Sahara was not going home.
Yeah, we called it, unfortunately.
That did not stop her from throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah, and also it caused me to regret the fact that
she was
not going home.
And it's weird because I could have been cool with the fact that she was still there, from being honest.
I could have too.
Because I knew that Cam liked her and he had a, connection with her. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Rocky hadn't solidified a connection like that, and nor had Coley.
Yeah.
However, that need to be affirmed by people who don't need to affirm you is very odd to me.
But not only that, just the allergic reaction to accountability. Sahara, you can't be in this world and think everything you do is right.
That's number one.
You can't. It's no possible way.
And when you had this reaction, you didn't think, oh, I'm proving them right. That didn't cross your mind once?
No, no. I just know she don't. Whatever that takes to have, I know she does not have it. So I'm not really surprised that was. Her reaction didn't surprise me. And I just know it's going to be worse when she's ready to go.
I feel like Cam was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt or whatever the case may be. Like, I get that you're upset, but you're upset with the wrong party. So two things is happening here. One, Cam gives Sahara too much information. I don't think it's okay to out what the other men say in the lounge.
And I don't like that. Okay. That seems messy to me.
And not in a way of what's going on. The general consensus is this. But for you to say, well, Fritz said you did boop de boop de boop. I think that's corny as shit, high key.
Yeah, and it just is setting it up for it to be more drama than it has to be.
That's what I'm saying. It don't even have to be that much drama or whatever the case may be. But the way that she acted, like, well, he said something, and she said, well, you're making this about you. And he's like, I'm not trying to make it about me. You're making it about me by the way you're acting.
Right, because he was trying to say, like, I'm not the one who wanted you going, and I'm not the one who said all of this.
And I'm not the one, right, the person who's sitting in front of you is the person who wanted you here.
Right, and she like, well, you're telling me this. Because she said, I don't want to sit here and be chastised. And he said, but I'm not chastising you. Like, do you feel that I'm chastising you? And she's like, yes, because you're delivering the information. That's not how that works, dear. That's not how that works.
And if you wanted to be on Baddies,
then go ahead to Zeus.
Then go to Zeus.
Because I'm tired of, like, I'm trying to rock with you, and I get the whole around the way girl thing, and I'm from the crib. I'm from Philly too.
And
like,
I'm an around the way girl.
Yes, and I get it, but also no. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm just like, go ahead on the next round. Don't even hold a lounge. Don't even hold a vote. Let's just go ahead and put her through, because it's getting to the point where it's a little distracting. At this point, I feel it's distracting.
How so?
From all the other connections, all the people who are really there to find somebody else, to really build the connections that they have with other people. Like, the Sahara thing is unserious to me, and it was cool in the very beginning, but now we're whittling it down. And for me, the fewer people there are, the more serious people there need to be involved.
So it's that for me. And this is not a dig. What I'm also seeing this episode is how a lot of time women be in their own way. Like this entire episode, every woman who spoke, I understood exactly why they were single. Like if we weren't sure why a baddie like Dianna wasn't single, she opened up her mouth this week and I said, oh.
Yeah. We say it all the time. They will show us. We'll meet them in week 1 and be like, she shouldn't be on here, huh? And then by week 5, we're like, we see exactly why.
And and the truth is, y'all gonna be like, well, I'm single because I don't want to be, because you know the people love to do that.
They love that.
I don't want a partner, man, woman, or goat. I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? I'm the one doing the picking. I know, baby. I know. Okay? Don't get me wrong. I know all the men love you. All the goats love you. All the women love you. You single by choice. I know, baby. But what I'm saying is, it was made to me abundantly clear why every single person was in this spot. And it's getting, I'm trying to think, is this a Philly thing?
No, it's not. I see this a lot. I've seen it on other shows in different cities. When you get down to it and you see beautiful people and people who seem like they got their shit together and they seem like career driven people and you go, what's wrong with this person? Ain't nothing wrong with them. They shouldn't be on here. And then they start to date and you see how they talk to people, how they interact with people. You see their perception of themselves. I can do no wrong. Nothing. You can't critique me because I'm only here because everybody else is a shit show. Yes. I'm not here because I have an issue with picking people. And that attitude shows up. Or you get the Dianna attitude where it's like you giving people energy that is just trying to talk to you, just trying to get to know you. And you giving them this combative energy.
Let's talk about Dianna. This was a little bit disappointing for me, if I'm being honest. And I'm using the word disappointing. And it sounds like deep. But like that's a big word for this occasion. But it was disappointing because Dianna is beautiful, like stunning. Everything about her, she has like a real presence to me. And then to see the way that I've seen her speak to men, and not just one man. Now I'm seeing it's a pattern. It's really getting old, and I'm just not feeling it. Dianna strikes me as one of those women that's like, because since she like to tell people what they strike her as, she strikes me as one of those people who need a man to handle her. Y'all know how much I hate that.
Yes, that definitely seemed like one of her lines.
You see what I mean?
You gotta handle me.
Because she comes off. A lot of times we don't understand the difference between being assertive about our feelings and being combative. Yes. She comes off combative.
100%.
You know what I mean? Hussein don't even have the kind of energy.
No, he doesn't.
He's very laid back young man. You could tell he's very humble. They go horseback riding. Let's get into it. They have a conversation about priorities. Like, what is your priority in dating and everything like that. She lets Hussein know my first priority is my work. And Hussein was like, why? Like, how you here to fall in love and what's a priority to you is the job. Like, the job is just a job. And with all
but specifically, with all due respect, your job. Specifically, right? Like, you're a firefighter. You can't, like, take the fires home and figure out how to get rid of them better, faster, more efficient, right? you specifically have a job where you clock in and clock out. You show up to work, you do your job. It's an admirable job, right? It's a thankful job. Thank you for your service type time. But also, it's a job.
And I didn't love the way, and I don't know if y'all caught this, and I mean, like, you know, I get like, she said something to the effect, well, like, it's not like I'm in an office and I'm sitting there being somebody's secretary, answering the phones and doing this. And he said, it doesn't matter if you was answering the phones or if you putting out fires. Like,
he was absolutely right.
If you need to prioritize the person in your life. And I could not understand how a man at 6 foot whatever had to tell a woman that who was on a show where she's supposed to be mixing and mingling for love. I couldn't even understand
the irony.
How that was like a conversation. But what I couldn't understand more than that is how offended she got by him saying that.
Yeah. But it's the accountability part. When you have such an allergy to accountability, anything somebody says to you will cause a combative reaction.
Yes.
Anything. This man didn't say nothing wrong to you, and he probably didn't say nothing that you hadn't heard before, which means to me that it was probably a bit of a trigger while you was giving him energy that he was not giving you.
It's almost as if you're talking to him how you speak to those men at the job.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is, and what we don't like to say, a lot of y'all do that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you still holding on to whatever kind of energy you got to have in order to make it through your day at work, and we get it. And you bring it home, and then people don't really want to deal with that bullshit.
No, and
you know what I mean?
You're trying to sell us why your 8 hours matters. We like...
It's that, and you got to know nobody's going to be as impressed with you as you.
No, I mean, period. You have to know that.
My husband, listen, and I mean this with all due respect, and I think my husband is a rock star. My husband plays arena shows, and I'll tell people he played the drums. You know what I mean? He's a fucking musician. Nobody.
And somebody asked her, "What your husband do?" She was like, "I don't know."
No, I did not say I don't know. I know exactly what you did.
He be in the basement playing around.
Like, he be playing there, making all this goddamn noise. This man is a musician. You know what I mean?
She really be like, I will be literally working all day. This is a true story. We'll get home from something. We'll make a run and get home from something, and then I'll go back to my office to finish all of the stuff I need to do.
Which I hate.
And she'll be like, "What are you doing?" Like dead ass, like what? What
are you doing?
With this true, authentic curiosity of what the hell do you have to do?
We're
like,
hanging out. Why are you disrespecting the vibe?
And I'm like, I have to work. One of the 10 jobs that I have.
But he treat me the same way, yo.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You'll be like, I work from home. I tell people all the time, Joe do not think I have a job because I work from home.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. You treat me like all she do is lay around and do this and do that.
This is her in her head. We were just talking about this earlier today about a family member of hers. This is where she get it from. I'm
saying all that to say, when Hussein told her to her face, we are not compatible, he was spot on. She need to go to therapy.
1,000%. Because this don't got nothing to do with Hussein.
This has nothing. This is not a Hussein issue.
This is not a Hussein issue. And it wasn't a Cameron issue when she gave him
at
nasty
all.
energy.
Gave him, and he didn't even have to give him that. Y'all brothers in arms.
And he was...
You know what I mean?
No, 1,000%. And he was literally trying to use that as a place of common ground to get to know you.
Oh, and at the very least,
we
could
do the
have been cool.
same thing. She like, no, we don't do the same thing. Well, which is it? Now, you don't want somebody who's not really interested in talking about your job all day. But then when a man come up to you and want to talk about your job, you quick to tell him, no, we don't do the same thing.
And we not telling y'all, and we've said this before, nobody is saying to dim your light. I don't believe in that. No. I'm just saying, who are you outside of the hours you work at the job?
Yes. The problem is, I don't know that a lot of people have an answer to that question, and it's sad.
Are you ready for my controversial take?
Yeah.
When we talk about why black men, and I don't think black men have dissected this enough, this is my purview, date outside their race. A lot of times they talk about like the femininity and all that bullshit and stuff like that, right? What I think it actually is that black women fight so much to get in spaces that they almost morph into the space that they occupy. So much so that when they come home, they can't shed that. You know what I mean? So it's like everything is about what I do or who I am to other people versus just having the opportunity to exist in the world. We had a conversation with one of our family members this earlier this week. And one of the biggest things I learned going through extensive therapy is that it's just being able to exist. Like, you not doing anything in a day, you not having any goals or anything like that, that's not a dig. Like, sometimes you just have to exist. Last year, at the end of 2024, everybody was asking me, well, what are your goals for that? I said, I have no goals for 2025. I am just existing. Anything that happens to us is just happening. I don't need to do that. You know what I mean? I am a human in the world, and I just want to have a human experience. And a lot of times our experiences aren't aligned with being humans. It's aligned with being a firefighter. Mm-hmm. So now when I go home and I'm cooking in my kitchen, it's not a woman just in her kitchen luxuriating in her life. It's a firefighter does that make sense? And we can't shed it.
Well, especially when you work a job that you literally, not that you don't have to bring home, that you literally can't bring home. You ain't running the country. And you're not the governor of Pennsylvania. What are you doing when you come home that you still got to be wearing this firefighting jacket? And
I can't believe the body is all tea like that, and you can't find a way to exude some femininity. And it's almost weird as shit to me that you look the way you do and you present the way you do.
Yeah.
Because it's almost not a woman there to me. It's almost like, and that's what's weird to me. And I know y'all like femininity is in the eye of the beholder. However, there's a certain softness. It's a spectrum, though. It's a spectrum. That's what I mean.
It's palpable. I would argue that the reason why Tae is such a popular candidate in this process is because she's the most feminine person there.
Period. But also, what she does not define who she is.
Yeah.
She's a feminine person because that's the person that she is.
Yeah.
She's a woman in the world. You know what I mean? She's existing as this human in the world. The fact that she's a successful human is just a layer of that. Mm-hmm. But that is not the foundation of who she is as a person. And a lot of y'all have to get to the foundation of who you are as human beings outside of what pays you. That's not everything. And I know it feels like it is. You know, what did Kanye say? Having money's not everything. Not having it is. But the truth of the matter is, don't be defined by that, or you'll look like a Kanye. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it'll turn you into something else.
You'll be a nut out here running around with a naked spouse on your arm.
And that's like the far end of the spectrum. But it really it really bothered me because I do know a lot of women who are like Dianna. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, girl, I know exactly why you ain't got no man.
Yeah.
And not because you need to be vying for a man. I don't even believe she one of those people who need to be vying for a man. But the idea that you look the way you do, you walk the world and everything like that, and you had to come on the show on own to get you a man? Let us move on. Naim and Tae go on a date. I loved every bit of this segment, okay? I was kicking my feet and giggling.
I did too. I mean, they both are flirtatious people, mm-hmm. and so it was cool to watch them, enact some of their own superpowers on each other.
And that's what it was, Joe. Yeah. It was like evil twin meet evil twin.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was like the Spider-Man meme, John. Like,
no, literally.
You know, I like to see people just be around people. Like, the idea you can't be around a good-looking person and have a good time is odd to me.
Well, everybody don't have... The funny part about this is, like I said, these are two of the... the YNs call it the Riz. These are two of the most, rizziest people on the cast. And I think that Tae's going to have chemistry with a wall.
I know.
You know what I mean? She just got that energy about her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Naim is very similar. He's smooth. Like, he could talk to anybody.
Yes.
And so them being together, it's really going to be judgment needing to be placed in. Is it authentic to each other?
Yes.
Is this specific to each other? Or are they just two ships passing in the night type Jones?
I liked every minute of it.
I
cannot even pretend. It is so abundantly clear to me why this man has 5 children. It's not funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that First of all, Tae has a beautiful place. Mm-hmm. A lot of y'all really be getting on my nerves. Like, she really is the it girl, and I really love that for her.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really do. Like, I love a smart, confident. But that's how I see women in Philadelphia. Smart, confident. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Funny, feminine. Some of them is a little rough, but most of the women I know are feminine women. Mm-hmm. The roughest of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I really like this energy, but like you said, it just was a clash of the titans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who can make us kick our feet even higher?
Yeah, that's going to be the hard part about them, to see like whose interactions and whose connection is really genuine, especially for them, because they could have chemistry with anybody.
Yes. But I am glad that they decided to go out. One of the things that Uncle Tommy wanted them to do this week, the ladies, since they have the ability to eliminate a man, one of the things that he wanted them to do was go on a date with somebody who wouldn't normally be their first choice. Francisco and Shanise go on a date in what looks like a school to me, where she gets butt booty hole naked.
It is a school, so I think if I got this right, and one of y'all let me know, I think that was like West Philly High or something like that. Like, somebody told me, I'm from West Philly, somebody told me that one of the school buildings got turned into like an apartment / like there's like a floor full of businesses and stuff like that. And I think that was it, because when I saw it, I like paused and I'm like, that looked like it's around the way. I think it was actually an old high school.
This was an odd episode for me to watch. Like, it was very hard for me segment for me to watch. The problem is I really like Francisco as a human. They do body painting, okay? Which in theory is a great idea. I actually ended up looking it up. But like, if there was like something, you know what I mean? In theory, it's a good idea. For your man.
For your man is the key word, though.
I'm not, the thing is about Shanise that's fascinating to me is, I don't think Shanise is slow. But something gives that she's on the spectrum. Because I feel like she don't be thinking things all the way through. Like, I think it's okay to introduce someone to your lifestyle who is a part of your life. But I think that it can come off as sexual harassment to just get butt booty hole naked in front of somebody without letting them know that's the plan. Does that make sense? Like,
that
it's
makes
not
sense,
fully thought out.
That makes sense, and that's interesting, because I have a different perspective. I didn't think about it from that point. I looked at it as this is more evidence that I see so many, especially singles in the world, not really knowing their worth and their value. I think Shanise is one of the baddest women on this show.
Period.
I think she got her stuff together.
I think she's sexy. I think she's smart. I think she's
smart. I think she obviously, we talked about it earlier on, in the professional sense of the word. She got it. You know what I mean? And then to come on here, date a man who you're just getting to know, right? Because y'all
respectfully does not have a car or a home,
who doesn't have those things, and you know this, and you're just getting to know him, to even get butt booty hole naked without him having to even so much as give you a Pop-Tart.
To feed.
He didn't have to take you to dinner. He didn't have to do anything. I mean, for you to expose, it wasn't even his turn to paint you. I don't know if y'all noticed this. She goes first to paint him, but she opens her robe up. So she painting him, exposing him to all the goods. It's just like, to me, it just reads, from my perspective, you not knowing your value and knowing your worth. And this is what we was talking about a while ago, when I was saying these dudes will go as far as you let them go.
And they running amok.
And I think part of why they're running amok is because they don't have to work for. You used to have to work so hard. We were talking about the other day. You used to have to work so hard to get a bikini picture, back in the day. And then when I say back in the day, y'all pretty much know that wasn't that long ago. You know what I mean? And now everybody is butt booty hole naked online. You know what I mean? And so seeing this,
I know you ain't even asked me for one lately.
seeing this, it showed the real life, real time manifestation of what we've been seeing online. How we just feel like there's such a devaluing
Yes.
of single women in this space, where these dudes feel like they don't even gotta do much anymore because he just met you. You already showing his, like,
it
got the best body on the show.
It leaves nothing to the imagination. And the problem is that I really like Shanise. I really do. And I think she's so beautiful. And I wonder if she thinks that.
I was just about to say that. That's what's given. It's given y'all don't know that. You don't know that you are a 10. You ain't supposed to be giving out change to everybody.
Oh. Come on. That was a bar. Period. What are we doing? What are we doing? And it's really upsetting. It didn't upset me as much as I just was like, now, girl, let me tell you something. It ain't nobody more naked on the planet than me. I'm naked all the time. That's my husband. He don't even be wanting people to pop up on this because he know I'm going to be naked. I believe in sharing a hedonistic lifestyle and all that stuff like that with people who are in your life. I wouldn't take a stranger nowhere where it's like some crazy. Like, I find it to be a lot.
That was a lot.
She has so much duality. She getting butt booty hole naked and sending Bible verses. Like, she has so much duality.
Seriously.
I just felt like, and I wonder, and y'all let us know, did you think that by them having this intimate experience, did that give you a feeling that they were closer?
No.
Like they had a more intimate conversation?
I mean, I don't know. I think they could have had intimate conversation without that, because I think he actually likes her. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree.
And I'm saying that that's supposed to be a gift. Like, we supposed to get to a point where you're like, damn, I'm gonna throw something on for you. That's supposed to, you know what I mean? It used to be, as a man, like that used to be a gift. Like, oh, all right, you know what I mean? I'm gonna invite you over and then wear a little bit less.
Yeah.
That ain't, y'all not in that world no more. Y'all just out here throwing the jacket open from the
and
door.
It ain't nothing but poom poom.
I mean, raw. Like,
I'm like, your poom poom is.
Girl, you didn't even have to get naked to do the painting. You could have wore.
You could have wore a bikini.
You could have wore, like, you didn't even need to get butt ass naked.
Cause
he had on shorts. Like, you didn't need to actually get naked.
It was just beyond too much to me. I genuinely didn't understand it. But girl, you getting butt booty hole naked in a school, you're going to jail. Straight to prison, okay? Jail, all right? Y'all, Rose got on my nerves this episode. And I'm going to be honest. Another person who I understand exactly why she's single.
Yeah, true.
I just get it. Like, I'm like, I wouldn't want to. And I think, not that I'm like, I really do believe I'm qualified to say these things, only because if y'all knew how many of my girlfriends I got married, y'all would listen more to me. I probably would love her in person, right? But it doesn't translate on TV. She's annoying.
But you would love her, but she would still probably be one of your girlfriends who you would have had to get with, because every now and then she would say something like she said, and you couldn't help yourself but to be like, girl, that sounds stupid.
That's so true, because sometimes I can't help myself.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that sounds dumb as hell.
I don't think you would be able to help yourself. You got all this energy about somebody, wanting a surrogate or something like that, but you want to adopt a kid. That's a whole nother person from a whole nother human being.
And also, that's basically surrogacy.
Like what?
Somebody else carrying.
Oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I won't be doing that. So he has to go. Why you got all that energy over there and you talking about you want to adopt? It just reads like, are you? You talked about what you're gonna be in slow. It reads question mark. Like, are we all the way there?
But you know what though, y'all gonna beat me up because y'all Philly girls like to fight, and I really am. I'm from the west side or whatever of America. So I don't fight no more. But y'all gonna want to fight when I say this. That is such a typical Philly girl attitude. Like, we do talk like we know everything.
I mean, that is very typical.
And it's so odd because it leaves no room for interpretation. It leaves no room for imagination. It leaves no room for resolution or compromise. And it's exhausting.
Super duper exhausting.
And it's exhausting to watch.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times conversations don't need people to shut shit down.
Yeah.
Sometimes conversations just need to be fully had, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And sometimes you just need to listen. Like, y'all be so quick to jump in, put your 2 cents in, and then slam the door shut. And it's like no one has ever gotten to a place of understanding that way. Sometimes you don't know these people. So sometimes have the conversation full out, right?
Yes.
Get to know what's behind his reasoning for being open to this way of parenting or this way of birthing versus that way, right? Like, you never know what can sway you, what can make you more sensitive to certain topics. You know what I mean? Just listen. And it's not a lot of listening going on.
It's not a lot of listening going on. And you've had a baby. This is my thing. Your stance on having children is your stance, right? But you also are dating men who still want children, who either have 1 or 2 children and want more, or have never even had children, right? So in a world where you're dating these kind of men and you're at the age that you are, you shutting down any avenue.
It's weird. How you in this space?
That's number one. Number two, when you get in love with somebody, when you fall in love with people, the things that you want change. And a lot of times people speak from their single selves, not knowing that human is going to evolve.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that you wasn't going to do, what I ain't going to do, who I ain't going to be, what ain't important to me, changes so much. I mean, it changes wildly. And then you'll just be in a space where you're like, you know what, maybe I would do something like that. Because what's more important to me is that you and I share this gift together. What we find out later for the next, whenever this show come back out, you're the person you made a child with is incarcerated. So that means a lot of what you've done has been alone. It's
clearly not working.
You don't even know what it's like to have partnership when it comes to rearing children like this. So, of course, you have this singular idea of what certain things could be. But you haven't made those decisions with a partner.
Right.
And I feel like it leaves no room. The problem with me for her is that she balloons a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I got a problem with people like that in general. Because I'm like, you leave no room for other people to do their thing, kind of.
But also, this is part of a lot of failure of relationship to me. Is people not knowing how to do partnership. And this is giving, she just does not know how to do that. And is not even open to it.
And it's clear you had to, yes. And on top of that, right? I can tell when you were either in a relationship where you had to lead the relationship, so you feel like you can say things emphatically like that, or somebody else didn't value your input.
Yeah.
Because if you were used to being, it ain't a thing I would never say I wouldn't do. Am I not like that all the time? You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, and I say like, I'm not putting up with this and I'm not putting up with that and I ain't doing it. But the truth is, I'm very flexible. And I don't believe in saying no in my relationship. Because no is a full sentence. No is a hard stop. And the only person in this world I'm most flexible with is my husband. So there are certain things that I'm like, okay, well, let me hear this out. I might not understand it. You know what I mean? And I think her reaction is biased, ignorant, lacks education.
All of those things.
And I mean that with all due respect.
Yeah.
I mean that with all due respect. I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I mean, like,
just as a fact, like, I think
the way that she said it, you could tell she don't even know. It's almost like talking to a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
You'll be talking to them about basic shit and then they get excited and you just like, do you even understand what the fuck you're talking about?
Like, do you even know that you voted for this and this actually opposes your way of life? Stuff like that.
It's almost like that. Like, sis, you would adopt, but you wouldn't give somebody your egg and sperm so they can have your actual baby? But I will say this, though, to redeem Rose before we move from this topic. All in all, I still like the date that she had with Hussein. And when I talk about Rose, it's not from a place where I genuinely think somebody's going to really like Rose. Something about her is really.
Do too, but every time I get close to being warmer, she pulls me back away. So I just need to cool my jets.
But I think that's how most people see it.
Yeah.
And the problem
is why she's here.
Exactly. And again, reminded me of the fact like, now Hussein, I still can't quite see why he's here. But we're going to see. I'm certain something is going to happen and a light bulb is going to, like, I get why Naim is here. And Francisco, you know what I mean? But Hussein, I'm still like, this is a nice guy. Like, I'm watching it. I'm like, Jay should have been on this season. Because I can see him. And Hussein, if you're single, boo, hit me up. I got somebody for you. Let's move on to the last date. And it's Angie, boo, and Eddie. Y'all got on my goddamn nerves this episode. First things first, I love a BYOB.
Yeah, I did too.
Love a BYOB, and I miss that so much about Philly. It's not even funny. Like,
and one of my only regrets as an adult is missing growing up, like in my adult stage of growing up on the East Coast. You know, that and spending time in Philly, New York, like that, where there's so many more of those BYOB experiences and stuff like that. It just has a different vibe than West Coast, you know, adulting. And that's one of my only things I like regret not being able to like experience more, you know.
Let me tell you something. I used to be the BYOB queen, and they used to be like in South Philly. You know how small the houses are in South Philly.
Yes.
Like a row home. I remember, like, there were so many like pop up Italian BYOBs, and it would be so sexy and so dark, and like you would be like literally sitting in somebody's living room with like, I don't know, 6 other tables.
I like stuff like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's just happy it just is sexy. I'm saying all that to say, Angie and Eddie go to a BYOB. Love. Wasn't one of the sexy sort.
Nah. But it look cool though.
But it look cool. And this is where Angie exposes herself. Now, Angie thinks Eddie exposed himself.
Yeah.
But when I watched it, I thought, So they go on a date. And they talk about, like, what do they want out of their spouses and things like that. Eddie wants a traditional spouse, okay? We know that he's a contractor, a general contractor. And he's a young man. I think some of this will change. But right now, what he wants is somebody who is ambitious, but also a homemaker, will cook, clean, do those things, or whatever the case may be. I can understand why Angie was taken a little bit aback by that. Like, okay.
Why? I don't. Why?
Why
can't somebody want somebody who is able to build a home, who is able to do things that they are not actually good at? They are not strong. Like, that's what I don't understand. The red flags to me is people who think that it's a red flag for somebody to want roles, to want balance, right? Eddie doesn't strike me as somebody who's cooking it down in the kitchen. Why is it weird for him to want somebody who can cook?
And
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that, y'all are weird to me. That doesn't make sense, because inversely, if you came on here and said, I'm not a handyman. I want a man who could damn near build a house from the ground up. Nobody would be like, that's weird. Like I don't understand that. That red flag.
Sure.
It's just as weird to me. Like, that's what partnership is. And I think so many of y'all are going to miss out on the beauty of marriage and love. Not even just because I know people who've been together for years and aren't married. We're not even talking about marriage. We're talking about just love and partnership and having your person. So many of y'all are going to miss out on that because y'all have an allergic reaction to the idea of partnership. It's weird to me.
I felt like she was a bit taken aback by that. Like, Joe and I do have certain rules. Joe does not cook at all. And I'm not saying it like that. Joe will cook eggs. Like, if I want breakfast and stuff like that and I don't feel like it, Joe will cook eggs and like cook our breakfast and pancakes and stuff like that. But for the most part, when it comes to dinner, that is something that I facilitate, even if it is ordering out. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that I take the lead on, but he takes the lead on other things. You know what I mean?
Like every team, like every partnership. At work, it's certain things that my teammate does that I don't do. And my strong suit is this. Their strong suit is that.
Yeah.
In every partnership, there's an ebb and flow. You know what I mean? I don't ever expect Zar to get on her knees and be trying to figure out how to fix the light bulb or how to fix what's going on with our internet or to take the trash out. I'll come home. I'll go on tour for 3 weeks. I'll come back. The trash piled up it's falling out the goddamn. You know what I mean?
And because who's going to take it out?
But see what I mean? Like that. And I would never be like, oh, you should do this. You should so to me, having every successful partnership every successful team is only successful because people are operating in their given role. We were talking about the Eagles the other day. He said everybody's a star in their role, right? Everybody's not going to be a star, but the goal is for you to be as good as you can in your role. Be a star in your role. So the idea that like you're taken aback by somebody who just wants a star in their role is weird to me.
I think the problem is that I understand why Angie was taken aback. It was the way that he said it.
He's not a wordsmith.
So
you know what I mean? If anybody's surprised that Eddie, and I've only known Eddie for 3 weeks now. You know what I mean? If anybody is surprised that our sister thinks he's not all the way there in the head. You know what I mean? So, like, not shocking to me.
Don't do Eddie. So I understood why she was taken aback by it. I'm going to be honest. Because if I was listening to his words, I would have been like, excuse me? However.
But you could say that about anything he talk about. Eddie is not Eddie Luther King.
He's not. He's not. So that's what I'm saying. However, something about him, I would have to dig a little deeper. I think sometimes we have surface conversations and we are so quick to be offended that we don't follow up with any questions. Yeah. And I think that I would have had to follow up. Like, so what does life look like if I'm the one cleaning and doing all these domestic things? Like, how do you contribute?
What does that look like for you? Do you also clean? Do you also like to cook? What are some of the things that you're a stickler about? Like, this is what I'm talking about the listening part. Y'all cut off people before y'all even heard them or heard their thoughts on things or why they see things the way that they do. Like, a lot of the dating is them not talking about anything. And then one thing comes up, they go very surface level, and then they make hard stances on it.
And that's what it seems like. And I don't know if they had a deeper conversation. I don't believe they did.
I don't believe they did.
And I don't think that's any fault of Angie's. I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, I don't believe they did either.
I just don't believe that they did. But I do genuinely feel like there was somewhere to kind of springboard from here. Because he does seem like the type that you kind of pull things out of. I feel like they are characterizing him as this like party boy who just want to be outside and do all these things and like unserious. But I think part of that is that he's 31. He's still a very relatively young man. I'm going to be honest. If it wasn't for the fact that we were pregnant right now, me and Joe party. This has been the hardest transition because we party. Like we're out like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then we will get up, go to brunch and recover Sunday night. Like, that has been our life for like 6 years, at least since we've been in Vegas consistently. You know what I mean? Him being that way is not a big deal.
Yeah.
He's a successful young man. I don't like him partying. I think is that not par for the course?
I just think y'all got to pick a grievance, because if a man came over here and said he don't go nowhere, he don't do nothing, y'all would say it's because he a brokey. He can't go outside. Am I lying though? Like, we've seen it happen before. Like, pick a struggle. Because y'all don't like when somebody say they a homebody, you say he a brokey. You don't want to go out. You don't want to go to nice restaurants, blah, 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 because you ain't got no money. You can't do it. You can't wine and dine me. But then when the guy say he is outside, he do want to take you out. He do want to go have some drinks. He do want to go a place that's not a coffee shop. Now he a drunk. They was talking about Eddie like he was a sloppy drunk. I'm like, where did they get that from? Because if they saw that, I didn't see that. I was literally thinking, did I miss something?
Exactly.
Where did they see Eddie falling over on the curb and didn't say anything about it? When did that happen?
Exactly. I want to read these notes to y'all at the end of this that my sister sent because they are tickling my soul. We literally talk to my sister after every episode. She's hilarious, y'all.
She be fooling, bro.
Like, I'm funny, but I really am probably the least funny of all my siblings, which I know y'all probably can't believe, but I do think Philly people are just funny, like naturally hilarious humans. But I want to finish these thoughts and then I'll read to you what she said because this is hilarious to me. This is where it takes a turn. I could get with everything where Angie's, hold on now, what's going on here? I could get with all that energy because when you're talking to somebody who is not a wordsmith, sometimes it is hard to understand where they're coming from. You know what I mean? But then she talks about having male friends. And that's when it was like, okay.
Also tone deaf, this whole part of the conversation.
This is where it got weird for me because, no. We already had this conversation with y'all about the male friends and shit like that. I don't know why y'all are. Have y'all not seen Dick in a Box? It's an SNL skit. It is so real. Like, just like men have women waiting in the wings, women do the same thing. And a lot of times it's unconscious. A lot of times we call it friendship when it's really, I'm going to just swing around here in a little bit and see what's up with the what's up. And a lot of y'all like to pretend like y'all are more evolved than that. And pretend is the big word. But the truth of the matter is, and I told Joe this, I told a room full of people this, there is not one male-female relationship where at least one party is attracted to the other. There is not one male-female relationship or relationship where you're, two women, you know what I mean? Or a homosexual relate, whatever it is, and y'all friends, where one person is not attracted to the other. It's almost the basis by which, as humans, we interact. We don't even know we're doing it. It's sociological. We don't even know we're doing it. It's the same way if you went into a cafeteria, you would just naturally sit next to people who look like you. Mm-hmm. It's the same way. We don't even know we're doing it. That's why it's not, I'm not saying don't have male friends. I'm saying be in relationship with people who respect where you are in life.
But not only that, you can't be in relationship with a spouse who don't respect your house, don't respect your wishes, don't respect your boundaries. All this man said is, I have a boundary. The same way you would have a boundary if he said, I'm single and I used to go out to eat with my ex every Wednesday at 3:00. You would say, well, that you're going to have to start canceling that appointment if we're together. Any woman would say that.
Any man would say that.
Any man would say that. So but specifically for Angie, you would understand this if he posed that to you. So for him to say, I have a boundary, I think that's weird. That you doing all of this, all cozying up with these men.
He said, first he was like, yeah, maybe I could. He said,
no. And I appreciate that. Like, no, that's not okay. And this is just maturity. That's all we talking about at the end of the day is maturity. When you mature, you understand that your spouse's feelings matter most. And you understand that your happiness and the energy in your home and in your space matters most. Whether or not maturity is doing things that you don't even necessarily agree with yourself.
Yes.
That's maturity.
But
that's
also,
maturity in relationship. That's respect for your relationship.
Right.
It doesn't matter if I feel as though my wife's stance on X, Y, and Z is exactly matches mine. It doesn't matter. I just know that my wife doesn't jive with it. So then I don't jive with it because I like peace in my home. And I like my wife to feel like she's respected and heard and her boundaries are respected. That's maturity. But then y'all come in here and y'all say shit like this and then call everybody else that he's an immature man. And this one is, y'all use all of these big words. You know what I mean? And then y'all say this is silly hills that y'all want to die on.
That was my issue with it, Joe. I felt like, Angie, I don't think this is the hill we should be dying on.
Not at 39 years old, it's not.
I don't think this is the hill.
We're too big of an age to be trying to die on the hill that my opposite sex best friends is still going to be as close as they are when I'm single and versus when I'm together with somebody. We're too old for that.
We're just too. That's number one. That's number one, right? But y'all don't think out things holistically. You trying to tell me in a world with fine ass Eddie walking around, you want him to have bitches just calling his phone?
Come on, bro.
Talking about they friends? You thinking about yourself. You ain't even thinking about the impact of this. Because if you live in a house like we live in a house, I tell you all the time, just don't do shit you wouldn't want me to do to you. And if you live your life like that, we will for real be peaceful because I'm going to treat you exactly how you treat me. That's the platinum rule. Okay. I'm not going to do that whole, because I'm a good person. I'm not above it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not above it. So if we have a boundary where that's not what we're going to do, a large part of it is that I likely put myself in a position where I'm thinking, I wouldn't like if he did that. You know what I mean? So it's easy for me to say, no, because I'm thinking about it in a selfish way. If a motherfucker did that to me, I'm going to be pissed. How are we not calculating that? You think I'm going to send Eddie out into the Mimi-Tantin world to be canoodling with bitches? Are you crazy?
Canoodling.
Like, you know what I mean? Talking about we friends, this my best friend.
Also, the stance of I'm not doing that. Like, you're here to find a relationship. So for
that's
you,
how I know you're unserious.
and that's how I know you're unserious and you're not ready, because ready looks like I'm open to doing the things that make my spouse feel respected and safe. That's what ready looks like.
And if you bought in, I got a friend right now that just called me. Shout out to him. I'm sorry I haven't called you back. But my life been like, I'm a wife. I'm out here. I'm doing all these things. My life been life. So I have not been able to get back to him. But the truth of the matter is he gets that because he too has a spouse. You know what I mean? Like, we're just trying to catch up on something like, damn, it's been 100 years. You are out here trying to tell me as if your life wouldn't change the moment you get into a relationship. You would be all too consumed in romance by a man. Not like the idea that wouldn't change is single mentality. If you are really bought in,
serious mentality, bro.
But, right? Because if you're bought in and you're dating somebody and you're consumed with the person that you're dating, how do you even have time for other people?
Right.
Not just the men, your girlfriends. People get into it.
It's not just same sex. But that's a maturity thing to me, because knowing that, understanding that is maturity as well. The relationships that you may grow distant from when you are in relationship and doing life with your spouse are not just your opposite sex relationships. Your same sex relationships also become distant. They also become estranged at times. You also don't get to talk to your good girlfriend or your good guy friend that much. And that's just doing life together. That's just how that just is how that cookie crumbles. And so to go into something like this and still be so close-minded to the reality of that, talk about a red flag. That's a red flag for me. If I was a single man and I heard a reaction like that, that would be an immediate red flag.
And Angie, what we're also burying the lead on, Angie is an abnormally good-looking woman. Her having male friends actually makes sense to me, right? Because if I was a man, I would want to be in close proximity to her as well.
Right.
Let's keep it 100, right? Just because I too like being around pretty motherfuckers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the idea that she has like that, I get that. I'm just trying to understand, what does the person, we know what single Angie looks like, but what does Angie in a relationship look like?
And that's why Eddie was like, that's not for me. Because what you're doing in this conversation is giving him a window into your mindset as a married woman, as a woman in a relationship. And it's giving single mindset. And that's not what you want. That's not what you want when you're vetting people to do life with.
Right. Because the truth, I don't even think it should have come up in conversation as much as I feel like you have to just introduce people, because the conversation leaves a lot to the imagination. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you had a cookout and you invited a bunch of people over, oh, this is such and such. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This is, and I wanted you to meet them and whatever the case may be. But that don't mean, because what does also adult male-female friendships look like? Y'all going out to eat and shit?
You didn't even have that conversation.
What do it look like?
Just the stance of you being like, no, I'm not doing that, is a red flag in itself. Because,
but like I think that's because he said no, and I do think there's a world. Boundaries is a real thing, right? I don't believe that you should be in a relationship and tell people no, but I do believe you should have boundaries.
Yeah,
and I think that Eddie was expressing that this is his current boundary,
right.
But I would be hard pressed to believe that he wouldn't entertain whatever she's saying. But does that make sense what I'm saying?
That makes sense, but I'm also, to your point of people showing why they are on this show and why they are single, you not being able to put your partner's boundaries first and respect your partner's boundaries is the reason why you're on here anyway. Because that has to be paramount in your relationship. And you can have all your stuff together. You could have, you could be financially sound. You could be gorgeous. You could be top of the pot in every way. People have broken up, gotten divorced, separated for less.
For less.
And a lot of the times we see somebody not taking their feelings into account, right? Like I was watching an interview of a very rich ex-wife, because she is the divorcee of a very rich man. And we say we want all these things, and they gotta have this height, and they gotta have this money, and all that. She had all of that, and she left her husband because he was just absent-minded of her. Didn't respect her boundaries. Didn't respect the things that she said she needed. Didn't just, and that matters. Like they get on these shows and they talk about all of this trivial shit.
No, that is.
And it's like, y'all don't understand that matters. That's a big deal, Angie. For your man to come to you and say, I'm not comfortable with that. And then for you to be like, no, I'm not doing that. You're going to be single for a long time with that mindset. Because that mindset translates into different areas of life. It's not just your male friends. You know what I mean? It might be something else.
Yes. And you trying to tell me you would sacrifice our relationship over
For what? For what? For what? Especially in this world where the pickings are more than slim. So you can't be in a world looking for a man not wanting to give up your man friends. Right. You can't. That means you're not serious about. You're not serious about that. Because if they was your real friends, they would be like, oh, I get it. Like I totally. God bless. Do what you got to do.
Exactly. They get to the vault and they talk about where they are in their process. I'm gonna be honest, the whole episode was good.
Yeah.
Y'all just was getting on my goddamn nerves, but it was a very good episode. And the ladies talk about who they want to put in their top and who they want to put in the bottom. They talk about their dates. Shanise, first of all, let's lead with Tae. Tae talks about her date with Naim and Francisco. They did have a cute little date, but do y'all see Francisco and think, how did he get to the date? Am I the only one thinking about something like that? Uber, Lyft.
It was SEPTA.
SEPTA. Does production send a van? Like,
nah.
Am I the only one? Production don't send a van though. Sometimes, won't they?
Not on. They ain't sending no van. They ain't
Bro, no I literally was thinking that shit. I ain't gonna lie. Like I looked at him like, I wonder how he got here.
Oh, on ain't got no van.
But that's here nor there. They went on their date. It was cute. They kissed in the mouth. I do feel like they had really good conversations though. Like I felt like they talked about how they were raised and their parents. And her father was absent, which I think has a lot to do with, you know, I mean this with all due respect, because I really love Tae. And I like Francisco, but that makes a lot of sense as to why you'd make the decisions that you made.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? It makes sense to me now. And then they share a kiss, which was a very aggressive kiss.
It was.
I thought they was going to knock the plates off the table, child. I said, "Ooh, child, y'all need a room." But it was really a cute date. I really don't have any notes. You know what I mean? Tae, every time she's on my screen, I giggle and kick my feet. So there's that. I just want more for her, and I want her to want more for her when it comes to a partner. But who knows? Maybe he's a Michelin star chef or something like that. Or maybe he clean a toilet like Mr. Clean himself. Okay? I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Toilet. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just saying. The two in the bottom end up being Fritz and Mr. Eddie. But not before the girls kind of get into it.
Yeah.
In the vault. First, Shanise tells everybody in the room that she was naked in front of Francisco. And
at the moment, they had Tae in the confessional. Tae thinking that her date with Francisco was the bee's knees.
Oh, she sure did.
Then she heard about Shanice's day and she was like, oh, damn.
Y'all getting butt booty hole naked.
Yeah.
What you mean? That was kind of crazy, though. But then Shanise says something that this is where Shanise redeemed herself for me, because I am this kind of girl. She said, y'all see me naked?
Which I'm thinking, how?
Because they probably was like getting dressed somewhere or something like that at the pool party, whatever the case may be. Let me say this. I am that girl. Like, I'm just like, if I grew up in a house with women and it was basically a nudist colony. And so I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Where she feels that comfortable. And it almost
But not around men. I don't get it. You don't feel that comfortable around men.
Oh, no.
So that's why I don't get it.
No. I'm just saying that little moment kind of redeemed it for me. I thought it was cute. I mean, is cute a big word?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
So they get to talking. Sahara brings up Eddie and Fritz. Well, they talk about Eddie and say that they think Eddie is unserious. All he do is drink, flirt with bitches, and get money. That's basically what they say.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm defending Eddie because of his pretty privilege or am I defending Eddie because I believe this? He's 31. And I think
No, you're defending Eddie because you don't see the bullshit that they talking about. I don't see it either.
I really don't see it.
I don't see it. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know if it's an editing issue or what, or whether it's envy of his freeness. Like, I don't know what it is, because what they're describing in the vote of Eddie, I don't see of Eddie.
I don't either.
So that's why I'm just kind of lost on it.
It ain't like he been on the joint like,
yes, yeah, like
when they had the pool party, he cooked the food.
Also, he was in the corner sitting on the steps. That's when he got essayed by Coley.
Oh my God, do y'all not remember?
He wasn't even like up and out and dancing. Like, that's why I'm just like, I don't know what they're talking about.
So like, he's a young man, and because he goes out, but you know what though? That's also indicative of the culture of the city, right? Like, I think if he lived somewhere like New York, LA, him being 31 and hitting the streets every other day would just make sense.
Yeah.
He's single. He's handsome. He's successful.
Yeah.
Why would he be in a house?
Yeah.
What is there to be in a house for?
Right.
Hit the streets. Let's do our thing. Let's party.
But they describe it like he out doing drugs and stuff and doing blow off of strippers. Like, he's never said anything like that on camera. So that's why I'm like, I don't know how we got here.
But you know what, Joe? People do that to us a lot.
Oh, you're right.
Me and Joe, it's so weird, right? Like me and Joe, like to the people like back home and our parents have this reputation of being like
standing on bars and shit. Like, where y'all get that from?
We get close.
but also, y'all have never ever.
Y'all have never seen that.
Where did y'all get that from? The blogs? Like, where y'all getting it from?
But you see what I mean? Like, because the truth of the matter is, we were double income people, no kids. Mm-hmm. People aren't used to that.
Yeah.
So then the freedom that we had.
That's what I was saying about. That was my point
About Eddie.
That's why I'm like, is this a little bit of that coming into play?
Because it really is just freedom. He just has the freedom to do certain things. And it looks wildly unserious, but it's just like, that's what it looks like when you have freedom.
I don't even think that people believe it's unserious. I do believe that people become envious.
Ooh.
And they start saying weird stuff.
People say weird stuff to me and Joe all the time. We be like,
yeah,
what did we do that people think? It's almost like we were in the movie Hangover. Like, did you see us doing blow?
Yeah, like, what are you talking about?
What are we even saying? It's so odd. So that's why I think I'm caping for Eddie, because as a person who is young, and we're older than him.
Right.
And we be in the streets, okay? And that's because we can be, like, or we could be because their mother ain't got it. Uh-huh. But there was a time we was pounding the motherfucking basement.
Yeah.
And you could catch us at a party till I don't know when. Now it's kind of like this young man, why wouldn't he be doing these things?
Yeah. But he's just not doing anything.
But also,
normal.
if he was a ball player, which everybody wants, y'all would understand it.
Right.
Why he want to be outside and do all this, you know what I mean? And y'all would think it was cute.
Yeah.
So it's just odd. It just was an odd thing to say to him, I felt like. But I do think he was the appropriate person to be in the bottom. If you had to pick
this week,
people. If you had to pick two people. And Fritz was going because Sahara hates him. And she, like him, they really are people cut from the same cloth, really was trying to galvanize people to get them to get Fritz off.
They are mortal enemies, and I just want this to end.
They are mortal enemies.
Somebody in the comments said, the problem with, it might have been on a different platform, might have been on Threads. Said the problem with this show is they turned the voting thing, turned it into like a Survivor mode, and it made it less about the dating and the connections,
yes,
more about like surviving to the next week. And I agree with that, like, because that's where all of this tension is coming from. You know what I mean? With this whole Sahara and Fritz thing, it's about survival. I got to vote them. It's like watching Traitors. Like, I got to vote them off before they vote me off. Like, come on, man.
It's so odd. But what I loved was when Dianna and Shanise was not having it with Sahara.
Yes,
the energy was not there for her. Dianna in the most relaxed tone said, "All that he say, she say stuff that you bring in here, we don't need all that."
No, seriously. But that's what I mean.
In the most polite.
That's what I mean by distraction. Like, Sahara is, to me, is giving distraction, not only on the women's side, but just as the couples are trying to like get closer and stuff like that. Now we got she was supposed to have a date with somebody who she really was feeling. She picks Fritz only so she could argue with him.
And Uncle Tommy asked her, why did you pick him if you didn't have a connection with him?
Like, you see what I mean? What are we doing here?
Only to harass him? Did you think that you was going to convince him to like you?
It just was very unserious.
It's just weird. And it's also sad to me because everybody is not going to like you. And that's okay.
She can't deal with that. And this is the wrong show for that.
Right, Joe.
The wrong show for that. You're dating 10,000 men. You gonna fight every man who don't like you? And I think her answer would be yes.
But would you want to fight about every man you don't like?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, it can't be both ways. It's got, you know what I mean? Or it's got to be both ways. So I appreciated that Shanise and Dianna pushed back on her just to kind of be like, but Dianna said something that I thought was crazy. She says she don't feel like she's here for anything serious either, talking about Sahara.
I agree. Like, you can't, it's just.
She said she's wildly unserious.
And that's how I feel. So I see. And it tells me a lot that she, from her perspective of being in it and going through the process with her, feels that way.
Yeah, like, that's a woman. She ain't even dating you.
Right.
She just watching from the outside looking in. Rose goes out with Eddie. And Sahara goes out with Fritz. Which, okay, production. We see what you did there.
Yeah.
What I do, let me tell you something. I know I told y'all Fritz give me the ick, right? But just like any man who gives me the ick or gets on my nerves, and I mean any, Fritz has redeeming qualities. Because the way he handles Sahara every single time. Is my absolute favorite. The dust that this man is able to wield. It's like he's Jafar.
Well, that's yes. But that's because also he's actually playing chess and she is not even playing dominoes.
And I mean this.
It's really not a fair match.
It's not a fair match. You are outmatched. And I hate to say, I hate to say this, y'all. Don't beat me up. Don't beat your girlfriend up. But she is outmatched intellectually, and I hate to see it.
Yeah.
Because what I love about this man, as much as I know, I told y'all he give me the ick, but what I love about Fritz is that he do not come up off his, he just be giving y'all the same.
Yes, he does. Every time.
He's not going to get worked up.
No.
I'm not about to do it.
No.
And you look stupid.
And I feel like he wants to say that, and at some point he will.
So stupid. And so she brings up Sahara's hilarious. That's her redeeming quality. She brings up the polyester. What she call it? The poly.
It's just so not like.
She's hilarious.
I be getting secondhand embarrassment.
The the polyester, the polygamy, right? Again. And Kiara brought that up in the vault too. Like, well, he want to be a polygamist, and that's just a turn off. I do think y'all forcing it. And he gives me the ick. He wouldn't be somebody that I personally choose. And I don't even think the ick is the right word. He just wouldn't be somebody I personally choose. So I get them, but I don't want to put too much sauce on the polygamy thing. Like, I think there's a lot of sauce.
It's not beating this man with the answer stick.
It's just a lot. It's just a lot. Let's move on. And when I mean he was verbally sparring with her, and she's visibly getting worked up.
Yeah.
And in the same way I'm talking to y'all, he talking to her. Like,
yes.
He was like, but why would you invite me? He don't understand why he is there with her. Like, y'all couldn't have picked somebody else. Like, what is going on? Eddie goes out with Rose. I don't think these women went in there with the respect that was required to tell somebody that they were going home.
Yeah.
And I think that the point of this process is not to be rude about it or to, lead with negativity. It's really just to be like, in this moment, like, we think you're great, but in this moment, this group of people don't see that you're ready to love.
And for them to be transparent about it and share information. Like, it's really supposed to be a lessons learned and not a debate. Yes.
But the problem is, if you've never participated in one of those, Joe, you would not understand how it doesn't need to be a debate. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I didn't like the way that Rose was talking to Eddie either. And like I said, Eddie got pretty privileged with me. I'm not going to lie. But I do think that Eddie don't even give y'all that kind of energy.
I know. That's
what I didn't like about it.
That's what's confusing about it for me.
It's almost like y'all be wanting people to talk to y'all crazy. Yeah. So then y'all start. I felt like the way that she was like, well, and the girls think you drink too much. Yeah. Wait, I don't think that's what they said.
Right.
I didn't think that's what they said. Also, how can y'all dictate how much he drink and y'all don't know him?
Right. Because he's not even dating all of y'all.
Oh, he lead with drinking. And the truth of the matter is, and y'all not going to like what I'm about to say, a lot of y'all are single mothers in the shows. Y'all don't get to have as much fun as a single man in the world. So you are jealous of the fact that this young man could be out in the world. And he probably, like I said,
it feels like a weird bone to pick.
It's such a weird bone to pick.
Not a sloppy like person, you know?
He don't even get, and he said that I haven't even been drunk on this show.
Right.
In order for y'all to have a opinion about whether or not I'm drinking too much.
Right.
Then they said he flirt too much on a dating show.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Why y'all hate Eddie so bad? The truth is y'all hate Eddie because he's cute. And something about him feels unattainable.
Oh, wow. That's deeper than rap, though. And that might be striking a chord.
That's really what it is. Because the truth of the matter is, Francisco is a better looking man, but he has less. So Francisco is more attainable. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, that's why y'all be dating low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't even know to want more. Because you think, I'm going to just get what's hot and ready. It's giving Little Caesars.
What we will not do is slander Little Caesars.
I'm just saying, it's giving Little Caesars.
Them little pizza puffs.
Because the more I talk about Eddie, the more I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Y'all don't even be having serious conversation with him, so he don't have serious conversation with y'all.
I know. And he don't have that many words to even, like give you, for you to be off put by something that he is saying. He don't talk that much. The most I heard him do was tell Coley to turn around when she was molesting him in the corner.
And how he was offended by that, which he should have. I just don't get this. I don't get it. I'm not going to lie. So we're going to leave it there because that's where the hell they left it. Until
the summertime. How did we get there, y'all? How did we get there? What is this like? How to Get Away with Murder? Like when the shows,
what if the actual
production was taking 6 months off mid-season, which I thought was ghetto then. It's giving ghetto now. Like, why do you need to take months off in the middle of a season of a dating show?
OWN is its own worst enemy.
Yeah, because this is really sad.
Because this is not the only show they do this with, Joe. They do this with every single show on this network. Because, I watch Love and Marriage Huntsville. I watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, Detroit. They all do this hiatus thing in between.
It's
only one season. They'll take like 6 to 8 weeks off and then want you to come back and still be invested. And then it turns out you get further and further and further. So then it's like when they come back for the reunion, it's like 3 years after the drama has happened.
So it's really bad, and
it's very bad.
They have to fix this because it's giving a ghetto.
It's really annoying to me, and we need to do better. Tubi is doing better than y'all, and it's really, really, really embarrassing to me.
Yeah.
But there's that. I guess we can leave it there. Joe and I are cooking up some things with our producers. We're cooking up some things to kind of figure out how to kind of fill out our week because it's kind of been fun to keep up with you guys about 3 times a week. And we don't want to lose that, right? So we do have some ideas. But somebody asked us about like reviewing Paradise and scripted television, which I'm a little adverse to because Joe and I are basically Siskel and Ebert. That's what y'all don't know.
Yes.
We
don't play about that stuff.
We do not. We play about this. We do not play about that stuff. Okay, me and Joe really be dissecting stuff y'all do not know in the house. But I want to know what are y'all watching? Like, what should we be watching? What should we be reviewing? What do y'all want to hear us talk about more?
We might get into this Temptation Island thing, but they are very unserious over there. So we'll have to see.
We're going to have to see. It was giving me secondhand embarrassment, babe.
It's going to, because what?
Y'all selling ass out here.
And that's what's awkward about it. Dating?
Selling ass. Y'all don't even be getting fed. Shout out to Ready to Love Philadelphia. This is the best season yet. I don't care what nobody's saying. Because y'all are fun, y'all are funny, and y'all are giving stuff to talk about. Oh, but let me give y'all my sister's final thoughts. So if y'all want to give us final thoughts on the episode or anything like that, please DM us at Joe and Zar. If you've watched it, a lot of times we're behind anyway. So if you watch it on Friday and you say, I want my final thoughts to be inserted, leave it there in our DMs, okay? We're going to catch them and then we'll make sure we insert them and let people know what you're thinking. Right, babe?
Yeah.
So this is Salima's final thoughts. This is what she said, y'all. I'm no bullshit. Salima says, I appreciate how Kim got with Voodoo Girl in the beginning. Dianna get on my nerves with this first date. How are you going to tell him what type of communicator he is when you just met him? Tae and Naim had a good date. Body praying for a first date and everyone is naked. Naked is spelled Nekked. It's diabolical in caps. I really am uncomfortable.
No, seriously.
Eddie is slow and a chauvinist and definitely wants a mom. Angie being friends with all her exes is wild. Fritz is so corny to me, but they both annoyed me during the date, him and Sahara. And then she says, I'm not done. These are my thoughts thus far. I hate that Cisco and Tae look so good together. I want her to have a thorough dude. I'm starting to not like Dianna. And Rose is starting to get on my nerves too. Sahara needs to be eliminated because she wants to intimidate people that don't like her. And she keeps talking about this polygamy. And that was Salima's thoughts.
That's factual.
I would love to hear what you guys are thinking in real time. If you wanted to be featured on our episode of anything that we're watching, and you watch it and you say, in real time, this is what I'm thinking, and I want y'all to bring it up on the show, make sure you hit us in the DMs on Instagram at Joe and Zar, okay? Joe checks them. He's better at it than I am. So Joe checks it. He's better at all of it than I am. I'm just basically talent. So that we can get you guys featured, because Salima just really tickled me today. And I really want to know what you guys are thinking as well. Not just in our comments, but everywhere. So, yeah, thank you guys for joining us again. I'm your girl, Intisar Eleanor. It's my beautiful husband, Joseph Conner. Thank you for visiting us on the Conner's Couch. And we'll see you beautiful mother jumpers later.
Peace.
Bye.